Any party wishing to be dictatorial must eradicate this safeguard. The new constitution does so with finesse. In the Senate of the proposed Republic of Jamaica, the government shall nominate 15 of the 27 senators, with the opposition nominating 9 and the president appointing 3 of his choice. Bless up my people. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And in this one, my people, we seen last week where Marlene Malahou Ford, the Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, passed the first phase of constitutional reform bill in the House of Parliament, I believe last week, Wednesday to be exact. And what does this mean, my people? We have elaboration on same by Peter Espeut, and he did an article in the Gleaner called Proposed Constitutional Dictatorship. And my people, I want you to listen to this in its entirety and make a judgment as one always do. Thanks for the continued support. Please to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Notification shout out goes to Major Daps, big up yourself Major Daps, as well as Jermaine Davis all the way in China. Thanks for the continued support, Jermaine. And so I'm gonna play the part in which Marlene Malahou Ford basically tabled the bill in the House, and then I'm gonna read this article by Peter Espeut.
The national items comprising the national emblem, the national flag, the national anthem, both lyrics and music, the national symbols, which are the national tree, the national flower, the national fruit, and the national bird, along with our national motto, the national pledge, the national song, lyrics and music, and the national prayer are included in the Constitution for the first time.
The bill also talks about how the president will be appointed. The Senate will also be expanded to include independent members, and the Electoral Commission of Jamaica will be entrenched in the Constitution. The opposition has welcomed the bill.
Hope that in the processes that are outlined, that will continue this discussion, that we could find the common ground that will enable us to make the critical steps that are needed, and that in the main are not contentious. There are issues and there are areas of concern, but the goals and the objectives are not the same, are not contentious, and they're not different. We may have different timelines and about how to proceed on them, but I believe and I'm still hopeful that in the discussions to come, we can find the common ground on which to move forward in unity.
Mrs. Malahou Ford said the bill will be reviewed by a joint select committee of Parliament.
And Peter Espeut is a known sociologist. And the article reads, those who study the history of any country recognize that certain events are turning points taking the country in a different direction, whether for good or bad. In Jamaica's case, over the last 200 years, we can identify 5 major turning points. One is 1834 to 1838, emancipation and full freedom for the enslaved. 1865, the Moran Bay Rebellion, leading to a new constitution wherein Jamaica was ruled directly from London. 1884, a new constitution was given to Jamaica wherein pure crown colony rule was replaced by a council composed of 9 elected members and 9 nominated by the governor, who was chair with both a casting vote and a veto. Only people with property could vote. 1944, a new constitution was given under universal adult suffrage. 1962, a new constitution was given as Jamaica is granted political independence. With the British monarch as head of state, the lower house is elected while the upper house the Senate is appointed. The plan of the present Holness government is that 2025 will be a sixth major turning point in 200 years as Jamaica is to again get a new constitution. The trouble is, whereas previous epochs generally led to political progress, the present proposals represent a backward step towards dictatorship which must be strenuously resisted. Last Tuesday, the Minister of Legal Constitutional Affairs tabled the Constitution Amendment Republic Act 2024 in the Parliament intended to abolish the constitutional monarchy and transition Jamaica to a republic. If the Holness government has their way, republic we technically might become, but in reality it will be a constitutional dictatorship with the Prime Minister as the dictator. If there is anything worse than the two major political parties colluding on the type of constitution that solidifies their serial hegemony, it would be for the ruling party to do a power grab and have it their way and their way alone without any meaningful consultation. That is where we are. A government committed to true democracy would have been careful to set up a constitutional reform committee truly representing Jamaican people, which would then conduct widespread public education on the options and public consultations to find out what the people wanted. You could tell that something was wrong when the minister chose who would represent the church, youth, and civil society. The party in power already knew the type of constitution it wanted, so there was no need for public education or consultation. Once I heard that the strategy the government was pursuing was a two-phase approach, wherein phase one only matters to do with removing the British monarch as head of state, were under discussion with all other matters left for phase two, I was convinced that generalship was at work, big time. I was right. Phase one must give the ruling party all the power it needs to make the other changes it wishes without the concurrence of the opposition. That is real dictatorship. This approach requires the bare minimum of consensus, only on matters requiring a referendum. The opposition and civil society are asked to support the removal of the monarchy with no guarantees or even serious discussions about other important matters that the ruling party could push through Parliament without any consensus. At that point, not even the opposition would have any leverage to prevent the ruling party amending the Constitution. The real power of opposition party is felt when the constitutional amendment requires a two-thirds majority in the Senate. Presently, the upper house is configured of 13 government and 8 opposition senators, such that at least one opposition senator must break ranks and vote with the government. This is the major safeguard, as that will be rare. Any party wishing to be dictatorial must eradicate this safeguard. The new constitution does so with finesse. In the Senate of the proposed Republic of Jamaica, the government shall nominate 15 of the 27 senators, with the opposition nominating 9 and the president appointing 3 of his choice. It will be easy for the government to win a two-thirds majority vote 18-9 if all of the president's 3 Senate appointees vote with the government, which is only to be expected. This will be easy since the president is selected solely by the Prime Minister, and the president's Senate appointees are almost sure to be sympathetic. Once the proposed Jamaican Republic is in place and the ruling party has a two-thirds majority in the lower house, as they do now, the Prime Minister will be able to pass any constitutional amendment he wishes to give himself more power or take away civil rights without consensus, consultation, or discussion. That is dictatorship. I say that the President is selected solely by the Prime Minister. The draft bill tabled last week says that if the parties cannot agree on a consensus candidate, the Prime Minister shall determine the nominee and then advise the Speaker and Senate President. This is even more dictatorial than the Constitution Reform Committee report, which stated in section 4.3.1, in the absence of consensus between the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition, each is empowered to make a separate nomination to be confirmed by both Houses of Parliament sitting jointly on a vote of an absolute majority of each House voting separately by secret ballot. Voting separately in the draft act, the Prime Minister's nominee for President shall be put to a confirmation vote conducted by secret ballot at a joint sitting of the Houses of Parliament. In a joint sitting in the ruling party will effectively have 18 senators to the opposition's 9, a small majority in the lower house caused by a close election will therefore be easily negated. This is dictatorship. What a piece of generalship. So my people, as we have always been saying, that the constitution reform is basically or solely done to soothe this government who is in power. We said it before and we say it again, and this Peter Espeut has basically outlined it again for us in a nutshell. Simple and easy. Dictatorship, generalship at all costs. They want to have 2/3 majority in the House of Senate, and they also want to have 2/3 majority in the House of Representatives. So my people, if they want to change or amend any form of bill, it would be easy for them because the Constitution states that 2/3 majority can have that bill amended and passed in the House, my people. So it begs to question, what will the people of Jamaica do? The first phase have passed through with little to not much public education and not much public meetings. The public doesn't really get a say to say what they want in this constitution. We are not sure if they put impeachment on the board. In the initial phase, it was not there. The opposition spoke in Parliament as well that he did not see this updated bill or bills. So my people, want to make me know what you guys think or what you guys will do. We're approaching the 2025 general elections. We don't know when this government plans to call it, my people. But I want to know what you guys think of this article written by Peter Espeut and what took place even in the Constitutional Court of Appeal striking down the Supreme Court's ruling against the amended bill that wants a second extension for DPP Paula Llewellyn. We even heard the People's National Party, Donna Mottley, saying that they are willing to fight this and fight it on behalf of the Jamaican people. And so they're waiting for the written court orders to look through, to read through, and to see how they can best approach it.
Today, the Court of Appeal overturned the unanimous decision of the Supreme Court by allowing the government's appeal in respect of all challenge to the constitutional amendment, providing a second extension of the tenure in office of the DPP. While we of course respect the Court of Appeal's decision, we take this opportunity to reiterate two of the fundamental concerns that led us to challenge that legislation in court. The government's enactment of constitutional legislation without any consultation with the opposition on a matter concerning a particularly sensitive office, coupled with the unprecedented haste to pass it through Parliament without proper review or any prepared debate, amounted to a pernicious abuse of power, inimical to good governance in a constitutional democracy. The government's approach was all the more egregious given the constitutional reform process that was then underway, and that was completely sidestepped by this rushed constitutional change. We await receiving the written reasons for the decision of the Court of Appeal, and we will make a determination as to the next steps once we have had an opportunity to review those reasons. As the opposition, we remain steadfast in our commitment to democratic principles of government, and we will continue to defend the Constitution and the people of Jamaica whenever we feel they are in jeopardy from an abusive use of political.
Comment down below, tell me what you think about everything that was outlined in this video, my people. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel on the road to 30k and beyond. Help me to get there, my people. Please continue to support the channel by liking and sharing out the videos. Big up to the returning subscribers, big up to my new subscribers, big up to my members of the Anne Isabel Rose membership. You can join the membership too, only a small fee per month to be a member. Get this video to at least 3,000 likes, my people. Share out that one near and far. Help others to hear it. For those who are still in the dark, who need to wake up right now. Our country at stake, a whole heap at stake right now, and the people, some of the people are still lost. Spread out that one here, please and thanks. Stay tuned for more videos, stay tuned for more updates. Big up on yourself.